And it's another early start in the North Pennines. And already the weather isn't looking very promising. But onwards I go. With the views obscured at 360 degrees. It's not the best weather to carry out a hike, but I carry on regardless. But where am I going?
And a good morning from a very misty North Pennines. Now then, where am I? Well, over this area, way over there, obviously lost in the mist, about 3 miles away, is Stanhope. This way, another 3-4 miles away, is Middleton and Teesdale. So I'm slap bang in the area I like to call the high mountain moors of the North Pennines. Now obviously they're not as mountainous as the western side, like obviously your Great Dunfell area, but there are mountains here, and there are massive expanses of moorland, peat and bog. And I have deliberately chosen today to come out just to show you that it is not all singing and dancing, glorious sunshine weather and glorious views. This is the North Pennines. And yes, this is what you can be up against. And it feels very surreal. Never mind. Onwards we go.
Yes, in this area, everything is struggling to survive, like this stunted tree. But onwards I go, admiring what views I can see in the mist. And the terrain is definitely boggy.
Now some people will ask me, oh, what is your best piece of equipment that you could take for something like this? What's the best walking boots? What's the best rucksack? What's the best poles? Anything. And I'll be honest, as long as you've got a decent set of walking boots, clothing, bag, you'll be fine. The most important piece of equipment I can think of is a positive mental attitude. Because when you have this for hours and hours and hours of hiking, seeing no one and nothing, believe me, it can suck the life and soul out of the best of us. It does actually remind me of a film from the 80s, quite a famous one, has something in it with a luck dragon perhaps, anybody any ideas? And there's a scene where there's a boy and his horse, they go, shall we say, through a swamp, and the horse gives up and basically sinks into the swamp. If ever you wanted to find somewhere real life like that, believe me, somewhere like this could be close, because there is nothing. Just mile upon mile of hiking with nothing to see. All you've got to do is put one foot in front of the other. It's pretty close. So, with my positive mental attitude, onwards I go. And welcome to my first summit here on Harnisha Hill. Slightly different design to the ones we're used to. It's not a concrete one, it's actually stone held together with cement. It's quite different, it's nice to see. But I'm unsure of the actual name of here, because although it is on Harnisha Hill, It could also be known as, a far more interesting title, Raven's Claw. I'll wait for some advice on that one. Anyway, onwards I go towards my next destination, which is in that direction over there. Let's go. If you want alien looking landscapes, this is definitely the right place.
Land drainage of the 50s and 60s has created this ethereal landscape where hanging fence posts just float in mid-air. And yet there's more over the next hill.
Yes, all this, shall we say, land drainage where the peat's being washed away, it's not the most healthiest of sights. And it's the same on the other side of the fence as well.
And leaving that part of the landscape behind, I slowly start to ascend towards what can only be described as a challenge. The peat hags and bogs slowly getting larger and larger. But onwards I go. It's too late to turn back now. Challenging terrain and a lack of visual feedback leads to a mentally challenging situation, but I must press on.
And finally, after 3 hours and nearly 5 miles of hiking through peat bog in the mist, welcome to the summit of Outberry Plain, which is somewhere about here, apparently. Anyway, onwards I go. And just as a point of reference, the summit of Snow Hope Hill, where I hiked with my friend Jess, it's about 500 metres in that direction. Cannot see today though.
Time to head into the peat hags and groughs again.
After 4 hours and 5 miles, welcome to the summit of James's Hill. Now I think the lunch break is in order.
Lunch is very quickly taken, sitting in the shadow of the trig point to protect me from the wind. And then it's packed up, and then start to head back. That's right, this is a linear route, so in reality, I'm only halfway there. I've now got to head back the same way. Back through more of these. And the terrain looking the same for mile after mile.
Still going And just so you know, on the other side, spin time. Roughly the same. But like everything else in the North Pennines, just following the fence. And already back at the summit of Outberry Plain, just there. Still can't see much, but never mind. Keep on going. And as I head down Outberry Plain, which, believe it or not, as its name suggests, it's quite a large plain. It stretches off quite a distance that way, fairly flat. And if I spin round a bit, you see that way, same on that side. Which is obviously, with the mist, it's obscured a bit. Never mind. Onwards we go. And you may think, well, we're basically returning route. Is he heading back to the car? Well, we'll have to wait and see. And just like that, walking the plains is over, and it's back to these. And for anyone who's wondering about the actual size of these, well, I'm just shy of 6 foot tall, and I'm standing on the ground, and it's up there. These are quite large. And they can go on for quite a length. Yes, it's a shame you can't see them very well in this mist, but you might just be able to make out over there. It runs all the way down here. These are all easy 10 to 12 feet deep. These are absolute giants. Yep, quite a size.
And the ground, always remaining boggy. Not ideal.
And finally, after 5 hours of hiking alongside this fence, it's time for a detour.
And now begins the most dangerous part of my hike. I have always followed the fence as a guide. Now it's open moorland, and in the mist I can see nothing. I could get lost quite easily.
For anyone wondering, this heather is knee deep. Whew.
And finally, with descending down the side of the moor, the mist begins to clear. But where am I heading now?
And finally, after, shall we say, not too bad of a detour, welcome to the aptly named Black Force. So named because I cannot see the bottom of the plunge pool.
So, with my scientific mind, I decide to try and find out how deep the plunge pool is in Black Force. Obviously, without physically going into it, even at the edges, it's surprisingly deep. And of course, it's far too good an opportunity to miss for an image or two. This image showing the route to get to Black Force. And of course, Black Force itself. Amazing. And with images captured, it's time to return back to my starting point via some gorgeous scenery.
We now leave Great Eagles Hope Beck and head back to the car.
And as I pass old mine buildings, hiking up Wire Gill, absolutely amazing.
And after leaving that location, that is a sight worth seeing. Yes, that is my car on the top of that hill. I'm nearly there.
Despite the challenging conditions I have encountered on today's hike, it is still with a smile on my face I make a slow return back to the car, remembering what I have achieved today.
And that's the end of this video for today. It's been an experience. Granted, there's still mist and fog up on the top of Outberry Plain, so the views are still not ideal up there, but I have still enjoyed the hike. It's been nice just to get out and experience some different scenery. So, whether you have enjoyed the scenery, the views, the images, or even just the journey, do not forget, everything you've watched, everything you've seen, this is nature.
Yes, as I was leaving, I was rewarded with a nice image of a sunset.